Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to do a tutorial of a necklace using some of the products from the Summer Spirit box curated by Erica Sandor. This is from beadingschool.com. Now, this is not a subscription box. This is a one-time thing, and I just wanted everybody to realize that. It's just a one-time offer, but I do have a link in my description in this video, and if you're interested in checking this out, I will link the unboxing where I opened it up and showed everything, and I will also link the box itself. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But I will tell you the products that we're using out of it as we go along this video. So the first thing that you're going to need is the main inspiration for this was this piece. Now this piece is out of the Summer Spirit box, and it's just an absolutely gorgeous little dangle, tassel, whatever you want to call it. It's on Coriana chain. It's got these beautiful little crystal flowers, and I thought it was so pretty. So that is my main, that was my inspiration for this necklace. And then I decided that I wanted to put some of the light green kind of chrysolite colors with it. So here are the beads I'm using. I'm using some 6mm fire polish from my own stash. I am using these 6mm crystal bicones. These are Preciosa bicones. They can also be found on beadingschool.com's website. I am using some, these are like a green and chrysolite color with a Picasso finish. They're fire polish beads. I don't know where they came from, but I've had them in my stash. These are the 6mm chrysolite opal Preciosa bicones from beadingschool.com. These were in the moon box, I believe, and I will link the openings of the sun and moon boxes as well. They have 500 bicones in each box, so they're really cool things to get. And they also have those are also available at beadingschool.com. Then these are some really pretty rondelles. I did have these on my website. I don't know if I still have them. I'm looking, but I don't see them. They may be sold out. They were really a beautiful color, and they didn't last too long. So I'm using those. And then I have some small little rondelles. These are about the same color as these. They're just a tinier, I believe these are like 3mm. They're very small. I have the 3mm Aurum bicones from, I believe these were in the Sun box. Okay. I have the 3mm crystal bicones that were in, I believe these were in the Moon box. I have trouble remembering which one was which. They were both so pretty. And then these are the chrysolite opal AB2X. These were in the Moon box, and oh my goodness, these are gorgeous. These are 4mm. Okay, so those are all the beads I'm using. You can use whatever you have, whatever colors you want. That's just what I've got, and I just wanted to show you those. Okay, you're going to need a lot of head pins. Now, I use just regular head pins and made a bunch of dangles, and I'm going to show you how to make these. I mean links, not dangles. I'm going to show you how to make these, but I went ahead and did them just for time's sake because it's a lot of links. But I have a couple more here that I need to do, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did those. So those are my links. You're going to need a toggle clasp. Now, there was a toggle clasp in the beadingschool.com Summer Spirit box, but I used it on another project there that I did. So I'm using this one. This is just a little tulip toggle, and I just thought, I mean, I know this isn't a tulip, but I thought it fit pretty well, so I'm using that. I have got 4 clamshell covers, and we're going to be using these. We're going to create a tassel. We're going to be using these. I have several crimp beads in here. One is a size 1.5mm. That's these. This one is a size 2mm, and I've got 4 of the 2mm. You'll see why here in a minute, and the rest are all the 1. Actually, these are 1mm, I believe. And then I have a few jump rings. I've got some, these are little 4mm open jump rings. I like this size. This is my favorite size jump ring to use, the 4mm. So I do have these on my website in a bunch of different colors if you're interested in that. Okay, now we are going to be using a chandelier finding. That's this one. Like I said, we're going to create a tassel here. Okay, so I've got this chandelier finding. I've got this piece that's going to go in the middle. And then I have cut just different lengths of Coriana chain and regular tiny, this is like, these links are like, let me see where my package went that this was on. I still have it. Yeah. This is just stainless steel gold chain, and it doesn't even say what the what the size of the links are, but they're tiny. And we're going to be using one piece up here for the necklace. Now I'll tell you how long this piece is. I didn't really measure the other pieces. I just cut them, just, you know, and I'm just staggering the length. So this is about 6 inches long. So that's going to be on part of the necklace. These others are just random lengths, so you can just cut them however you want them to look. So this is how I'm doing it. And like I said, they're just kind of random lengths, and I'm going to put 2 pieces of Coriana chain and 1 piece of regular chain on each loop of the chandelier, I think. So I haven't made this, it's just in my head. If I'd made it, I wouldn't have the components to make it now, so I couldn't really do that. So we're going to kind of design as we go, and we'll see how it goes. But I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do in my head. Okay, so I believe that's everything you're going to need except for your jewelry tools. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create these dangles. Now, what I wanted to do with these is use some of these tiny beads on them. So let me dump these things out. All right, so I've got my tiny little rondelles here, my little 2mm rondelles. I've got my 3mm clear bicones, my 3mm gold RM bicones. These are more of these. I just checked them to be sure these would fit on the chain. So this, if I need more, they're there. And then I have these little 4mm chrysolite opal AB2X bicones, okay? And I'm going to hang these on some of this Coriana chain and create just some little floating beaded strands, okay? So let me set this out of the way. I need to keep these in order so I don't mess them up, because I kind of laid this out like I want it to look, but I just want to work with one section at a time. And I'll show you how I do these, and then I'll pause the video and finish them, and you can do yours, so you don't have to watch the whole process. It's kind of long. But anyway, what I'm going to do is the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead on the bottom of each one, a crimp bead, and that's going to hold my other beads that I'm wanting to float in place. So I'm just going to take one of these tiny crimp beads. These are like 1.5, I think they're just 1mm. And I'm just taking a pair of pliers and I'm just going to crimp it down. I'm not, you don't really need to use crimping pliers for this. And I'm just crimping it tightly so that it grips that Coriana chain. Now, when I put my bead on, my little bicone here, it's going to go down and kind of float. And you really don't notice these smaller crimp beads. I mean, I don't think they're noticeable. You could cover them with a crimp cover if you wanted, and it would just look like little spacers on there, but I don't really want to do that. So then I'm going to come along with my next one. I'm just moving up from that bicone somewhere on the chain. This is totally your own personal design choice. You can do it however you want. You don't have to do it how I'm doing it. And I'm going to put my little bicone on. Okay. Now I'm not really going to crimp above the beads, because when this hangs, gravity's going to pull them down. There's really no sense in crimping above them. And that would just add more, that would add more chance of people really noticing the crimp bead. So I'm not going to do that. And then for my third one on this little chain, I'm going to add on my crimp bead. And I think I may come way up here. I'm going to stagger these. They're not all going to be the same. And I'm just going to crimp that down. Just make sure your crimp is tight. Usually they go on pretty tight. And I'm going to put this bead on. And I know he will fit because I tried him on a piece of Gloriana chain already. But it wasn't this piece. It was, well, it could have been this piece. I don't really remember. But if one won't fit, just find another one. Usually one has a bigger hole. I don't know why, but all their holes seem to be different sizes. And if that one won't fit, then what you need to do is either decide not to use that on this piece of chain, or cut your tip on your chain a little bit better, because I think mine was kind of split. And maybe that's why it's having issues. We'll see. See if it goes on better now. If not, I may just not use this little bead on this piece of chain, but it did. That's all it needed. It just needed cut. Sometimes the chain can, this Gloriana can kind of split where you cut it, so you need to. So that's what we've got. We have just a little thin. I don't want this to be, you know, this neck, this is going to be delicate, so I don't want that to be too much, okay? So then I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to do the same thing. Not the same pattern, but the same thing. So I'm going to take this little crimp bead, slide him on. This one I'm going to move up a little because, well, no, maybe I'm going to go down to the very bottom on this one. Okay. And then I'm going to do one of these crystal clear bicones. Now you can use your bigger bicones on here if you want. I just really want to keep this kind of delicate and not use the 6mm on there. So there's my little crystal bicone. He doesn't even really show up. He's kind of tiny, but that's okay. All right, and then I will take another crimp bead. And I'm going to scoot it down, maybe right here. I want them to be kind of staggered. Whoops, he keeps sliding. I want them to be kind of staggered and not all hanging in the same place on my chain. And for this one, I think I'm going to do this bigger one again, the 4mm. Put it right on. And that's all I'm going to do on that chain. I'm just going to let it be. Okay, so now once you have your beads on there, what you're going to do, and you may need a beading awl for this. Let me see. Both of these will go through the bottom of your clamshell, but you may need a beading awl just to make that hole a little bit bigger. That's what I've done before. I wasn't sure if it would work here or not. So I just take my beading awl and I just make that hole a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be a lot bigger, but just a little bigger. And then we're going to take these and pinch them together. This is a little fiddly, but you can do it. I promise. I've done it. It works great. You can do it. And we're going up through this hole in the bottom of our little clamshell. And if you have to make the hole even bigger, then you can. That's the good thing about this metal. It's kind of soft and you can make it even bigger. I want these both to be on this one clamshell. And like I said, I have done this before, so I know it will work. It's just kind of fiddly, and it's a matter of getting that hole big enough. There we go. All right, so they're both through there. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure they're even. So I'm going to pull this one down just a tad. Maybe. It's not wanting to go down. Maybe I can pull this one up just a tad. Okay, there we go. I'm going to have to pull them both down, actually, because I don't want them. Okay, now I've got them both through here. They're fairly even. I'm going to take one of my bigger crimp beads. So this is a 2mm, I believe. And I'll see if they'll both fit through here. I may actually have to get a bigger one. We'll see. Nope, they're going to fit. And you want it to be a tight fit. You don't want this bead to be really loose on here. So just try to make them both go in there. They will, I think. Mine are. I just got to get them pushed down a little bit. So you can grab your bead with your plier and kind of shove it down. Now, I don't want it to go very far down on the chain. I just want it right at the top, and I'm just going to crimp it down. I am going to crimp it really good and tight You don't want to crimp it tight enough to cut your chain. Just make sure they're on there good. So you give it the tug test. Then pull your clamshell cover up to your bead. Okay, and just close it up. Might have to do it with your fingers. There we go. Just close it right up. Okay, and you've got a really pretty little beaded chain element here. Okay, so you need to do that with all of your little beaded chains. Now I've done 2 for each dangle. You can do it differently. Like I said, you could just do 1, but I'm doing 2 for each dangle. So that's my one that's going to hang right here. And I'm going to do this one, and this one because my main component, this one, is going to hang on the middle. I'm not going to put anything else on there with it. So I've got 3 more to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and do that, and I will be right back, and you go ahead and do yours. Okay guys, so I have finished all of my little dangles here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these apart here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take a jump ring and I'm going to attach each of the 2 dangles with a chain onto the chandelier finding. Okay, so let me grab my pliers here real quick. So these little 4mm jump rings, I'm going to open this up and I'm just going to insert one link from the chain and my little double dangle here right onto the jump ring, and then I'm just going to attach it right onto the chandelier finding. And just close it up. Make sure they're closed really good because these are thin little links, thin little, you know, everything's thin and dainty and they could easily slip out. So just, you want to make sure that your jump rings are closed up really good. So there is the first one. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. Okay, again, just opening my jump ring and attaching. So I'm going to put this one on first. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can put the chain on first. I just randomly do it. And then attach this one. Whoops, I dropped that one. Okay, let's put this back on here. There we go. And attach this one right on here. Okay. Now in the middle link, I'm just going to put the flower component from beadingschool.com. But now one thing to notice, if you have this flower component, I want you to notice something. Okay, there's a front and a back, clearly. You don't want the back of your flower showing. This component, the jump ring, is sideways. It's a little odd. It's not like normal. So you don't need to use another jump ring to attach it, okay? You just need to open this. It does open up. It's a jump ring right on the end of these chains. It's a little difficult to manage because it's tiny. Let me see if I can get it here, okay? I'm going to open it up gently. I'm a little concerned about messing it up. So I'm trying to be real gentle here. Okay, opening it up gently. You can insert it right on here, but you want to make sure that it's hanging the correct way with your flowers in the front. I think mine is. And then we're just going to close it right up. Now, you could put a couple jump rings on it if you don't want to open it up, but if you do that, you're going to have to use a couple jump rings, and see, that's what I was concerned about. It came off. This little jump ring thing came right off of this, which is, I was worried about that because it looked so delicate on there, and yeah, so that's really wasn't the greatest way to put that together. So let me grab out, we can fix it. It's not a big deal. We're just going to fix it doing the same thing I did on all the others. I'm going to take the clamshell cover. I am going to find one of my larger gold crimps. Here one is. And I'm just going to create just the same thing that I've been doing. So I'm going to have to make this just a tad bit bigger. And the only thing with this is it's going to shorten this little piece, but I think that it'll be okay still. And I'm sorry if you can hear Chris. He's downstairs trying to walk his dad through something on the computer, and he gets very frustrated when people don't understand computer things, which most of us don't in the family. So yeah, he stays frustrated with us. He gets it. We don't get it. None of us get it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this crimp bead on, if I can get it on. I hope to goodness I can. I really don't want this piece to be non-usable. Oh, I may have to find a bigger crimp bead. So just, you know, I could edit this out, but I really kind of want you guys to see, you know, when you encounter an issue like this, you just kind of have to figure out a way to make it work. So I'm looking at my crimp beads. I see a big silver one. Now, normally I wouldn't want to use silver, but this is going to be covered up by the clamshell. So if this will fit over this and it'll make this piece usable again, it will. So what I'm going to do is put it right over those two pieces. I'm going to try to scoot this down just a bit. And I'm going to crimp this bead closed. Now I want to crimp it tight because I don't want it coming off. It seems tight to me. I'm going to close it up. If you wanted, you could put a dab of E6000 glue in there. That would help. Okay, so now we have fixed that to where this piece is usable again. So if that happens to you, I had a feeling that just looked so delicate. I had a feeling it was just not going to be very sturdy on there. So now we can hook this right on here, and I think it's going to be okay. So let's take a jump ring. It's a beautiful little piece, and I think they're very good quality. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it's just maybe just a little bit of a poor design on that part, or they're just a little too delicate to do that, to have that jump ring right on the end like that, and it to be an open jump ring. If it was a closed ring and we just attached another ring to it, it would have been better, and that's probably what I should have done. I shouldn't have even tried to open it, but I was just a little concerned. I wanted to try and see because I was a little concerned, and I was afraid even that if I left it closed that it might break off because it just looked real fragile. So this'll make this, you know, this'll work. If I can get it on here, it will, because I just am having fine motor skill issues today, apparently. I don't know. Some days are better than others. I think I've told you guys before that I have some nerve damage in my hands from a car accident when I was 16, and my fine motor skills are just not the greatest all the time. Some days are better than others. Today is a little bit of a challenge for some reason. I don't know what it has to do with. Maybe I don't get enough sleep, or if I'm stressed. I mean, I have no idea, but anyway. Some days I struggle a little bit more than other days, but I gotta say, I'm very thankful that I can even walk, because the doctors told me that I would be paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of my life and would never walk again. So God is good. He miraculously healed me. There's no explanation for it. The doctors can't explain it. They wrote me up in some unexplained medical journal, and I am a mystery to them, but I know where my help comes from. So there you have it. I'm a walking miracle, and I can prove it. I have the x-rays to prove it. So anyway, my fine motor skills, though, sometimes leave a little bit to be desired. So, all right, here we go. We're going to hook these other two on. Same way. These should be a little bit easier. Get them on there. I loved this box, this Summer Spirit box. There is so much in it, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be able to make so many things out of this box. All right, I'm going to pause this video and get these last two attached, since I seem to be having such an issue with it, and I will be right back. All right, guys, so I did manage to get all those attached, and here is our dangle. I think this is beautiful. I really like it. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to attach this onto our chain. I'm just going to do it with a small jump ring like the others because it needs to hang. It's going to have a jump ring to hang on there. And I don't want it to be a real big one because I don't want it floating around on the tassel. So it just really needs a small one, or I don't want it floating on the chain, I mean. So I'm just going to put it right on like this, just right through the chain. I'm not going to try to put it through the links, okay? So just right on there. Okay, so here's what we've got. We have our beautiful little dangle on a small, delicate, really pretty chain. This is very delicate. I love this. Okay, so now we need to make the dangles to go up our sides. And I have several here that I've already made. Let me make sure I get them all. And I'm going to show you how I make these. So I have eye pins. Okay, all you do is you put your beads on your eye pin. This is how to do it by hand. If you have a one-step looper, you can do it that way. I choose not to use that a lot of times. I just really would prefer to do it by hand. My loops seem to come out a lot prettier. So I'm going to bend this at a 90-degree angle. So there's what you've got. Okay, then I'm going to take my cutters and I'm going to cut. And I like my loops a little smaller. So the smaller you cut this piece, the smaller your loop is going to be. Now, with that, you have to make sure you leave enough wire to make a loop. So just be careful there. And then I'm just going to use my round nose pliers. I'm going to grab it on the end and I'm just going to roll it back like this. Okay. So just like that. And there we have our little loop. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this one because this is going to go on the other side of my necklace. I made one, I made them matching for each side. You don't have to do that. If you like the random idea, you can do them random. Again, 90-degree angle. Cut our little loop or our little wire and just roll it back into our little loop. Okay, now that one's a little bit open, but that's okay because we're going to open them all and close them anyway. So you need to make a bunch of those. I have got, let's see, I'll tell you real quick here what I've got. And I did make them matching. Like I said, I made different sizes. I made some longer than others. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 for each side. But like I said, some of them have, 3 or 4 beads on them. Some of them just have, well, the smallest one has 3 beads. So I don't have any that just have a single bead or 2 beads. They've all got either 3 or 4 or 5. Some of them have 5. So get all your dangles made and come on back and we will arrange them up the sides of our necklace, okay? All right, so I have all my dangles made, so I'm just going to look here, get this other stuff out of the way. I'm just going to look here and see how that I want to put these on. So I don't want to have like all of my long ones in a row or all of my short ones in a row. I want to vary them. So I think I will do, and I want to vary the beads too. So like if I have a lot of gold here, I don't want to put gold here. I don't have any crystal in this one, so that's why I went with this one. We're putting the crystal on. Then let's see, I don't want to do another one with a lot of crystal, so how about this guy right here? So when I made these, I didn't really lay them out. I just made them random, but now that I'm putting them on, I'm just going to try to space out, the beads. So I'm going to put some gold here. Let's pull them down a little. Okay, and then I could use some more crystal again. So let's do the crystal ones. Let's go ahead and do these because my other big bead is way down there. And then I have these 3 left. Now these are 3 smaller ones. I probably would want to put one on the end for sure. Whoops, I'm going to I've got a gnat flying around. I'm going to put this one with the crystal on the end. And now these others I may want to put in between. Let's see. I do have a small one here. I'm trying to keep this kind of on camera so you can see what I'm doing on the screen. I could definitely use maybe a small one between these two. So let's put this one here. This little tiny one. Where did I do that? Between those two. Okay. And then I may put this one right here. Okay, so once you get them all laid out like you like them, we're going to hook them together. Okay, now this can be a little tricky. I'm going to hook these directly onto each other. I'm not going to use jump rings to hook them. So the first one here, I'm just going to open up and put on. This one's going right on my chain. And you've got to make sure that these are closed really good, okay? Because if you don't, they will come apart. So just when you're putting them on, just be very detailed. Make sure that they are closed up really good. Take your time. Don't rush, okay? Trust me, it will be a whole lot better not to be wearing your necklace and have it fall off. And you're like, oh no. You may lose it, or it may just fall off in front of everybody, which isn't good for your jewelry, you know, reputation. So let's make sure these are closed up super good. It's a gentle pressure because you don't want to bend the loop in on itself. Okay, so there's that one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hook these two directly to each other. One thing that we need to do while we're doing this necklace is we need to make sure that it's going to lay evenly and flat. So sometimes you have to flip your loops a little bit. I don't know if I will have to on this one or not, but you may have to. So you just go ahead and connect them all up and lay it out on your table and just make sure that it lays flat. If not, you may have to twist one of your loops. But I think it seems like it's doing okay so far. So that's a very open loop right there. I'm just gonna finish opening it and put that on. Close it up. Again, make sure they're closed really, really good. These are all these links linking up together. It's really important that you get them closed. Okay, this one over here. I'm just going to open it up. Attach this one right on. Close it up. Make sure it's closed. So go ahead and do what I just am doing and attach all of your loops together and then come right on back. Okay guys, I've got all of my pieces hooked together and I am going to put this on a form at the end and show you. But right now we're just going to put our endings on. So this is super simple. We're just going to take our bigger jump ring here. I am going to hook the toggle loop on with it. I actually thought I was going to do a lobster clasp. That's why I got this big jump ring. I was going to, actually I may just use one of these smaller ones I've got here. I thought I was going to hook a lobster on and would have needed the bigger jump ring in order to clasp it to. But I went with the toggle. So let me see what other, I might just use a smaller jump ring and probably look better. So we'll use this one. It's a little bit smaller. Actually, we'll use this one. It's even littler. I like small jump rings. I'm not a fan of the huge ones. Okay, so let's put this right on here. This is our toggle ring. Okay. This is a little bit of a thicker jump ring too, which I like to use on the closures just for a little bit better security, I feel like. Okay, there's our toggle ring. We are going to put on our toggle bar. Now with the toggle bar, I do like to use a smaller jump ring just to make sure that we don't have trouble getting it through the ring here. I don't want a big jump ring blocking it, so I do try to use the smaller ones on the toggle bar. I'm going to go ahead and put that right on there. Okay. Close it up. And there we have our closure and the end of our necklace. Now, it's really cute. Whoops. That is a really cute little toggle. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and put this on a form and we will show it to you. I will be right back. Okay guys, so here is our pendant. That's the whole thing, and ignore all the computer stickers in the background. Landon is here visiting and he's got his computer set up there, and I don't know who all those people are, but yeah, that's not mine. Just so you know. So here is our tassel, or our dangle, whatever you want to call it. I think this turns out really beautiful. Yeah, really like this. I think it's pretty. Let's focus in on that for a minute. And then if we go up the sides of our necklace, we have our beaded components, which are also really pretty. Sorry for my camera. This is a new one and I'm getting used to it, but oh my goodness, wow, it's not doing a very good job there, is it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get used to this new camera, so I apologize, guys. But anyway, there is the entire necklace, and I think it turned out really well. I like it a lot. So if you're interested in the beadingschool.com Summer Spirit collection or the Sun or Moon bicone collections, I will have links in the description box below, and I will link all the unboxing videos where I open them up as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.